I don't really know. I don't really care right now. You know, I got this fight coming up, and the biggest thing is people's watching. People are paying attention. You know, that's all that really matters. You know, whether they hate me, whether they love me. You know, I'm getting a lot of attention right now, and I'm grateful for it. I mean, ultimately, as an athlete and as an as an entertainer, people caring is all that really matters. So I'm very excited to be in the position that I am.
Jon, you've fought a lot of champions and big names in the past. Where do you think Cormier fits in the scheme of things and challenges?
It's going to be a good one. You know, I think he possesses a lot of talent, and as a champion, you know, I face the best, and in order to walk around as a champion feeling proud about that, I got to know that it wasn't given, and I earned it against the top guys in the world. He's one of them. He's just one of them.
About the whole Nike thing and the way you told the story of the commission that they may come back at you and have.
Yeah, I saw that. They're like, well, technically he lied under oath, and I didn't. You know, I had several months left on my Nike contract, and when that fight happened, it sped up the process of me losing my Nike deal, and I had like thousands of dollars of credit left on my Nike account that I never got to spend. I had several months of monthly revenue money that I never got to receive, or monthly money that I didn't get to receive. So I lost several $1,000s because of that fight. So technically that fight was the reason for thousands of dollars being out of my bank that I could have received. So I mean, technically, there's really nothing. They have nothing to come back on me for. You get what I'm saying, guys? You get what I'm saying?
How much have you ran into Daniel this week, and what's that been like?
I haven't ran into him at all. No, I haven't. I saw him. We were both doing satellite interviews, and I had to go to the bathroom, so I walked past his room and I saw him. But we haven't actually engaged each other at all.
Being the youngest champion of the UFC, it's almost like you've had to kind of grow up under all the spotlights, all the attention. Being now at this level and having defended your title a record amount of times in the division, how does it feel that you've grown up in front of everybody and the reception that they have of you?
You know, I wouldn't say I grew up in front of everybody. I'm saying I'm growing up in front of everybody, you know? And I'm learning. And I can honestly say this, at this point in my career, you know, I feel the most free and accepting of myself, just being who I am.
What's forced that?
Just you guys.
I don't think it's gonna be the first time when you see him. Like, it's gonna be beat up again.
No, you know, I don't know how it's gonna be. You know, I'm sure my emotions will be high, his will be high. And I'm just feeling alpha, so who knows what will happen. You know, I may just headbutt him again. You never know.
You know, it's said that you're an athlete. He's a better athlete all around than you.
Did he say that?
Cormier.
Do you believe that?
Not the way you're looking at it.
Yeah, come on, baby.
But how do you respond to that, though?
You know, Cormier needs to do everything he can to build himself up. Right now, his mental is important. So he's going to say a lot. He's a great talker. He's a commentator for a reason. And so I'm saying he's a better athlete. All right, who cares?
You've had to do a substantial amount of community service for the NAC for that, for all that happened. So now you're saying that you'd headbutt him again at weigh-ins. Do you feel like there would be any consequence for that?
Yeah, of course there would be consequences. I'm just talking out here. I'm just out here having fun, you know.
All right.
But hey, you never know what could happen.
Jon, to get back to Daniel's comments, he said, specifically, he's his size and he can dunk. He said that Jon Jones is 6 foot forward, he can't dunk.
Oh, he said that?
Any response to that?
It's true.
Is it?
Yeah, it's true. I've never dunked a basketball.
Okay.
Never. I got no calves. So I'm like,
But that was his basis of saying he's a better athlete.
Well, I mean, if we're going to take dunking a basketball and sum that up into being an athlete, I'll give it to him. Man.
You guys aren't going to be playing basketball in there anyway.
Well, I don't think so. Last I checked, we didn't have a court. So
Play a game of horse or something.
yeah, and maybe after the game.
Jon, you've been in some grudge matches, some kind of emotional fights. What have you learned through your career? Because we hear the cliche almost that you can't fight emotional. You don't think clearly when you fight emotional. So what have you learned in your career so far? Is it good to come in there with a little anger towards the opponent, or do you have to block that out?
You definitely got to block it out as best as your ability. I always have been able to, and I will on Saturday.
Does it drive you though, like in training and in practice?
Oh, in training, dude, it drove me so far. I feel like an 18-year-old kid. You know, at the beginning of my camp, I was kind of concerned coming off a knee surgery and jumping into camp. You know, I know what I do to get ready for fights: the running mountains, the swimming, the sparring with monsters. And I was worried at first, but the motivation just allowed me to forget about my knee and just be a kid again. And so I've found a newfound strength and energy, and I'm excited to go out there and display it.
And how do you put it aside on Saturday night? Is it meditation? What do you do to block that emotion out?
You know, I guess it's just something that I've been blessed with to be able to do. Yeah, I think a lot of fighters can do it. A lot of fighters do it. I've never fought out of anger. You know, I usually say I'm somewhat expressionless when I'm fighting, and I have a lot of pride in that.
How do you spend fight day to kind of relax? It's a long day.
Fight day, man, I thought about taking a helicopter out to the Grand Canyon, and decided I probably wouldn't do that. That's what I was thinking of doing. I don't really know where I'm going to meditate yet, but I will get out, meditate, focus on the fight, think about the tactics, and just rehearse what I need to be doing. And yeah, it's gonna be a good day. Just eat all day.
Back years ago, like before you won the title, I remember it was like right when you were on the cusp of winning the title, like after the Bader fight, it was like Dana was like, man, this kid could be the greatest if he just stays away from the bad people. You know, he's gonna have all these distractions come around. And now that like you've sort of lived through that, I mean, was it like a big deal? Did you see like were there a lot of people that came out of the woodwork? Has that been a challenge for you?
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's been a challenge, no. It's been a lot of trial and error.
Good luck.
But I wouldn't say it's been a challenge. You know, my Coach Jackson, he really prepared me for this. You know, he said, John, I know you're going to be a champion. He used to tell me that back when I was like 19, 20. He said, John, I know you're going to be a champion. And it's, you know, I don't worry about you changing as far as getting arrogant or treating the fans any different, you know. He said, I worry about you, how will you be once you've already made it? You know what I mean? Like as far as an athlete, you know, always looking for new reasons to be great and things like that. And he said, John, just this camp, he said, John, I'm so proud of you. You know, you stood the test of time. You know, right now you already have the records in the light heavyweight division. You have a lot of records, and a lot of people would be satisfied. And he's like, look at you, still one of the hardest workers in the gym. You know, still striving for so much more. You know, still feeling as if you haven't made it yet. And he's like, I'm just proud of you. So, you know, it was great to hear that from him, and I'll continue.
John, would you join if you were asked any of the antitrust lawsuits that were filed against UFC? Big groups of fighters that were filed.
Well, I'm not answering any questions on that one.
All that being said before about, you know, what Greg said to you going into this fight and being called one of the greatest ever, if you win this fight, do you feel like you deserve to be called the greatest fighter in UFC history? Because we've heard some people say that.
Man, that's just my dream. You know, that's my dream to be the greatest, man. Why not? You know, I think my confidence offends a lot of people. But I think people should learn from it and be inspired by it instead of finding it offensive. You know, it's like, why not want to be the greatest?
But do you feel like you're in that conversation? I mean, if you
oh yeah, I believe it in my heart. Yeah, I do believe I'm one of the better fighters to ever play the sport. Just because of the records, you know what I mean? And being one of the youngest guys to ever do it, and you know. But I would say I don't believe I am the best. I do believe Anderson and George have done amazing things, and they're still guys to this day I look up to a lot. But I want to be the best. I want to be the best champion of all time. Not only MMA fighter, but champion. You know. And there's a lot of great champions too that are far ahead of me. But as long as I keep my mind in that type of direction, then I can't help but land amongst those guys. You know what I mean? So yeah, I got big dreams, man.
All right, thanks, guys. Yeah, we have to get them moving.
Oh wow, sorry guys. All right.
Thanks, guys.